I'm not gonna step on a soapbox. Instead, I'm gonna stand up here and I'm gonna deliver a sermon. This isn't a holy book of any type, but it's my own book of personal photography philosophy. And today I wanna talk to you when a photograph is no longer a photograph. Now, I asked this question just like I asked everyone what they thought made the perfect portrait. And unlike that question, this one, I got crickets. In fact, that's literally what someone commented was a GIF of crickets, and I'll put the screenshot up right here for you to see. See, no one wants to answer the question of when is a photo no longer a photo, but if someone posts something that looks heavily edited, everyone is quick with an opinion. So before we really dive into this, what is a photograph? What defines photography? By definition, the art or practice of taking and processing photographs. See, it's not just taking the photo, so straight out of the camera does not apply here. The term and processing. Now, we've talked a lot about editing. We've talked a lot about post-processing, RAW versus JPEG, what comes out of your camera and what comes out of your computer. So when does a photograph stop being a photograph? Well, we can't really say that it's what comes out of your camera because there was a story about 4 or 5 years ago. The name of the photographer and the website are lost to me, but the man was kicked off the photography website because his art looked like graphic design, but he was in fact double, triple, quadruple exposing his images in order to create patterns. And if you remember the name of that photographer, you know the news story I'm talking about. Please link it down in the comments. But the fact is his art came out of his camera, and it was still called over-edited. It was still called graphic design. Or what about Pentax cameras that allow you to edit and process raw images in camera? Or what about the most popular camera of all, your cell phone? I can get Lightroom Mobile. I can take the photo with this camera, put it right into Lightroom Mobile, and edit it right then and there. Is that straight out of the camera still? When does that line, where is the definition, where is the line in the sand? You can't tell me because I asked and no one responded. And I didn't ask on 1 or 2 pages. I asked on every forum that I'm on. I asked on every Facebook page that I'm a part of. Not one response, just crickets. Now, what about the old-timers? People will say, in film, you couldn't post-process, but that's a lie. Look at spirit photography of the Victorian era. Look at how they painted blush on people's cheeks on early tintypes, both wet and dry plate. What about post-processing in the darkroom, where you clip the top of a film negative, you throw another one on there, and then you put it in your enlarger? You couldn't even tell. There was no data to say whether or not you had edited it. So when does a photograph stop being a photograph? You can say that, well, if someone enters it into a contest and they change the background, did they take that background photo? If it's 2 photos stacked on one another, is it still a photograph? Was light captured on a sensor or a strip of film and processed? That's what a photograph is. And photography is the act of taking photos and processing them. That and processing is so important to that fact. And the fact that no one could answer me, but everyone is quick to jump on those comment sections. So, when does a photograph stop being a photograph? Let me know what you think down in the comments, and I'll catch you all on the flip side.